to the second hour of Fire Your MD Now. When are you going to do it? Now. Why are you going to do it? Because you're sane. Why else are you going to do it? Because you're sick and tired of feeling sick and tired. Why else are you going to do it? Because you're sick of being broke. You're sick of being broke. You're sick of throwing good money after bad. You're sick of giving incompetent, old-fashioned, closed-minded, pedantic, dangerous snake oil salesmen your hard-earned money every month in the form of medical insurance premiums. If you live in the United States of America, if you live in Canada, you're screwed. Because there's no way on God's green earth Canada is going to change its medical system into an unsocialized one. Because right now they automatically take money out of your paycheck no matter how old you are, no matter whom you work for. They automatically withdraw money from your bank account so that you can have access to the worst system of medicine in North America. And that should be illegal. But it's not. Why? Because absolute power corrupts absolutely. And when you are in charge of the show for 100 years, the show ain't gonna change. That's why longevity exists. Longevity exists not to fight the pharmaceutical industry, not to fight conventional, modern, old-fashioned allopathic MD-directed medicine, but to ignore them. To do a workaround, an end around. We're going to do an end around the pharmaceutical industry, and that's how we're going to change everything here in the more or less free world by showing whomever wants to listen our way, which is the way of science-based, clinically verified, sane medical nutrition. It's actually what you thought your MD practiced, but you were mistaken, because not only have the MDs of the pharmaceutical industry co-opted the medical market, but they've also co-opted the media market and everything else. I mean, when was the last time you saw on TV a holistic practitioner painted in a good light? When has that happened? Ever? No, they always talk in derogatory terms about the homeopaths or the chiropractors or those acupuncturists. It's always derogatory. So, they're secondary or tertiary to what the MD does. It's nonsense. You've become culturally conditioned to believe that the MD is the king of the hill and that everybody else delivers substandard, dangerous training when, quite frankly, exactly the opposite is true. The only people selling snake oil in the free world have MD after their name. These are the same people that started World War II, the same people that funded the beginning of World War II, the pharmaceutical industry. They need to be avoided. Let's go to Milwaukee now and talk to Sela about hepatitis. Hey, Sela, thanks for calling. You are live.
Yeah, you know me. You've been here.
I have. I do. How's it going? What's the latest?
Well, we just had Dr. Wallach as our guest speaker Monday night and last night.
And how many people showed up, and how'd he do?
He did marvelous. He was in the South Side, very close to where you were last year.
Yeah.
And he had actually about the same number that you had when you were here, and a little bit bigger group on the north side when he was up at a church there. So
yeah.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah, very, very good. Well, that's excellent. Yeah, Dr. Wallach, I mean, really, every single time I spend time with Dr. Wallach, and, it's 2, 3, 4 hours a month now, I learn something else. I mean, he's like the gift that keeps on giving. I mean, it's every time I talk to him, I learn another little clinical pearl, and I'm like, I go away from my meetings with Wallach scratching my head going, S-O-B, I did not know that. I mean, honestly, the day that I can catch Wallach up on something and that I know something that he doesn't know, and the day that I can give him a eureka moment with medicine, it's going to be the happiest day of my life, or one of the happiest days of my life. The man is a force of nature, Sela, but you knew that, and every longevity representative knows that. So, hey, girl, thanks for the call. What's going on?
Okay, I have a client. I'm a fitness trainer, and I have a client who has hepatitis hepatitis C2. As a young person, she had hepatitis C. She didn't even know there was such a thing as hepatitis C2.
Yeah.
And the doctors have told her that her liver counts are off the charts. They're 10 to 15 to 20 times higher than what they should be.
Yeah.
They want to, of course, put her on medication, if need be, surgery or whatever, I don't know. She's 117 pounds, 63 years old, and 5'2".
Okay. So, first of all, hepatitis C, like Charlie, that's a viral infection of the liver, and there have been spontaneous recoveries from hepatitis C, and they're documented in the medical literature. Nobody knows what causes a spontaneous remission of hepatitis C. Nobody knows. But it happens. It doesn't happen all the time. It happens rarely, but it happens. Now, hepatitis A and hepatitis B, these are also viral infections of the liver, but they're caused by a different virus, and hepatitis A and hepatitis B will go away all by themselves without any medical treatment. The only thing that you need to do if you have hepatitis A or B is make sure you don't give it to anybody else, and don't be drinking 5 shots of tequila a day while you have hepatitis A or hepatitis B, because it'll put too much stress on your liver and it'll take longer for you to recover. But hepatitis C is a chronic health condition that there is no known cure for. That shouldn't be any big news to anybody, because the knucklehead MDs don't know how to cure anything. They can't even cure heartburn. So the fact that they are clueless as to how to cure hepatitis C should come of no surprise to anybody. However, you know, this is life or death stuff, and this is serious stuff, and so when the liver is affected like this, we want to be Johnny on the spot, prudent, and give the body the resources that it needs, the raw materials that it needs to optimize its function to the degree that it is able to optimize its function. I mean, who knows? We might elicit a spontaneous remission. We might not. We might be able to reduce the viral load. We may not. She may be able to live with a certain amount of viral load in her body and live a long, healthy, productive life. I know a number of people who've been living with hepatitis C for over 30 years. And they're healthy, and they're productive, and they don't have any symptoms. They're fine because they've been doing holistic medicine. All of their buddies who they got hepatitis C with, you know, back in the day, the most common form of hepatitis C transmission was drug users sharing needles. All of their buddies who didn't do the holistic stuff, they're all dead. The guys that did do holistic medicine, they're still alive. So we have clinical experience with hepatitis C that lends us to believe that supporting and promoting the structure and function of the human body in the face of a diagnosis with medical nutrition, in the face of a diagnosis of hepatitis C, whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, and, you know, the MDs will come up with a new classification a month from now, which is meaningless, quite frankly. It's an important thing to do, is give the body its due, get out of the way, and see how far back the body bounces. Now, I'll tell you what to do with medical nutrition to support and promote liver function in a minute, but it's also important to understand that, and I spoke about this either a week or 2 ago on the radio show, but I'll reiterate it now because it's important. MDs, of course, they're really into measuring things, right? And so they'll do this viral load test. And they'll tell you, well, you've got X amount of virus particles in your blood, and you really should only have this amount of virus particles in your blood. And to a certain degree, they're correct, and to a certain degree, they're incorrect, because nobody really knows what that means, number one, and nobody really knows, number two, what appropriate levels are like, and whether the levels fluctuate with some type of cyclical pattern. It's like blood pressure normally increases in certain times of the day because of your circadian rhythm, your biological clock. So if you happen to take somebody's blood pressure at the particular time of the day when the blood pressure is the highest, you might get a false positive high, think that you have high blood pressure when you don't. So what needs to be done, which isn't done by the medical community, is they need to take 100 patients with hepatitis C, and they need to draw their blood every hour for 24 hours, and then look to see if there's a fluctuation in the viral load. And then they need to draw their blood once a day for 30 days to see if there's a fluctuation in the ebb and the flow of the viral load naturally over time, because there may be. But because the MDs haven't done that, if you happen to go in at a particular moment in time when your viral load is very, very, very high, it may just be a normal part of the cyclical flow of the illness. Now, we can all make the argument that there shouldn't be any viral load there whatsoever, and I would agree. But the fact that it's really, really high today might be meaningless because they haven't dialed in these diagnostic parameters. And for them to make a statement like, oh, we're going to need a liver transplant based on, this type of individual blood finding, that's ridiculous. It's juvenile, it's unscientific, it's unworthy of intellectual thought, and quite frankly, they should be ashamed at making such a juvenile determination, but they do this all the time. So, I don't really give a crap about the viral load. What I do care about is other functions of the liver, the AST hormones, the ALT hormones, the GGT, and other liver factors, as well as subjective experience of the patient as to how she feels, going through her day, her mood and her energy and her sleep and her aches and pains and things like that. So there's a number of things to take into consideration here in addition to just focusing on the viral load, which is what the allopathic reductionistic knuckleheads do all the time, and it ticks me off to no end, as you may well have picked up on. So what do we do to support and promote the structure and function of the liver? 1 anti-aging healthy start pack per 100 pounds of body weight per day. 4 bottles of selenium per month. 1 bottle of Killer Biotic per 100 pounds of body weight per month. 1 bottle of Z-Radical per 50 pounds of body weight per month. Eliminate the 10 bad foods and a diet that is high in antioxidants. Get your antioxidants up over 20,000 a day. That's right, baby. You need the eye of the tiger if you are going to pull those in your life whom you care about into the light of medical nutrition. You're going to get cajoled, you're going to get negative comments, you're going to get harassed, you're going to tell people that you don't know what you're talking about, and you know what you say to them? That's fine. I'll see you at the funeral home, sucker. And move on and find somebody who is wise enough to listen. The fool that knows he a fool, the fool that knows he is a fool indeed. And that's the way that it is, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I got that wrong. The fool that knows he is a fool is that much wiser. The fool who thinks he is wise is a fool indeed. A little off my game this morning. I guess it was that quote that threw me off. In any event, looks like we're going to Atlanta next to talk to Ken. Hey, Ken, thanks for calling. You are live.
Hello, Dr. Glidden. I really enjoyed hearing your speech in Atlanta, Georgia, and I wanted to say how much we appreciated you coming down and talking with us, and how inspired I was after being able to listen to you for at least an hour, I think it was.
Yeah, we had a great event down there in Atlanta. That's the one where Theo Ratliff showed up?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
Standing room.
Yeah.
There's a full
Yeah, the full court press there. Yeah, I remember that. We had a great time. I think isn't Longevity people back in Atlanta today?
Yes, they are, and we're going to be there tonight. I just wanted to try to call and ask you something. I'm a distributor and member of your Health Recovery Network, which I'm very much getting a lot of benefits from that.
Boy, I appreciate that. We have a lot of fun with that, too. By the way, what Ken is alluding to here, folks, is an online health recovery subscription that I have available on my website. It's $17 a month. We have 50 hours of archived material on different health topics. We have 8 hours of pre-recorded introduction to longevity webinars. We have 4 hours of live stuff every week. It's an awesome tool in your longevity belt to help drag people into the light of medical nutrition. And the best thing about it is we have a lot of fun doing it. So what's your question, Ken? How can I help?
Well, I've got a customer who had a cataract surgery and had the crystal lens, multifocal lens installed. Then they had an eye infection. And then after, the vision was excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent after the surgery, but this infection occurred like a couple of years afterwards, and then after the infection, it's like her vision is like looking through Vaseline. It's occluded. So I was wondering what would support and promote the health of the eye, or any type
well,
of
it's funny you should mention that, and Ken is not a shill, ladies and gentlemen, but tomorrow night's webinar is going to be all about eye health. Tomorrow night's live webinar, if you're a subscription holder to my online health recovery stuff, it's all about eye health. But I'll give you the short answer now, Ken. Well, where there's smoke, there's fire, right? And the first thing you want to consider here is that the problem is not with the eye, but with the fake lens that they put in. So you want to look to see, do a Google search for the type of lens, the company that makes it and the manufacturer and the model number, and look to see if there have been any complaints or recalls about it, because they recall cars all the time. Well, it's no different with this type of a medical appliance. It's a man-made thing. And sometimes, the temperature during the manufacturing product of this particular batch was off by 5 degrees, and so that gives it a little less structural integrity than they thought that it had, and then you get an infection, and then that stresses out the lens itself, and the problem is the lens, not the eye. That would be the first thing that I would think, is that the problem isn't with the eye itself, the problem is with the lens, and it was probably a fault in the lens that led to the eye infection in the first place, because for goodness sake, how many people do you know get eye infections? Well, I don't know anybody that gets an eye infection. Most of the time you get an eye infection, it's, because you got poked in the eye with a sharp stick. Heaven forbid. Or, the knucklehead MDs left a stitch in, or they did a surgical procedure, or they gave you a device that is faulty. So the first thing that I would do is I would do a little online search to see if there's been any problems with that particular make and model of lens. And if there has, then, you've got legal recourse for a redo, a free redo. Let me know how that works for you. But notwithstanding that, what we do to support and promote eye health is more selenium. In addition to the Healthy Start Pack, it would be more selenium. I would do I would do 1 bottle of selenium per 50 pounds of body weight per month, and the Ultimate Daily Capsules. The Ultimate Daily Capsules at 1 bottle of Ultimate Dailies per 100 pounds of body weight per month. This, of course, on top of the Healthy Start Pack, appropriate for weight, and eliminate the 10 bad foods. Stick around, folks. Back after these messages. $866-582-9933. Lines are open if you're listening to the podcast and would like info, or if you're listening to the live show and want to know how to get the supplements at the wholesale price, or to find out more about the business opportunity. That number, 855-347-3696, 855-347-3696. As I was talking to Ken from Atlanta about just a little while ago, the online health recovery program that I sell via my website, if I do say so myself, is a lot of fun. We have 4 hours of live webinars every week. 4 hours of live webinars every week. The next live webinar is tomorrow, 10 o'clock Central Time in the morning. It's a live chat with Dr. Glidden. You just log in, get the subscription, log in, and then I answer health questions. And tomorrow night, we're having a health webinar, and that's on how to support and promote the structure and function of your eye, how to give you good, optimal, holistic eye health. And I've got over 50 hours of other health-related archived webinar information available for right now that you can point and click your way to the wonderful world of holistic health. And why do we do this? Because we're the only ones that know this, and everybody needs to know this. So we are leveraging social media and the Internet to help us spread our message of health recovery through science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. At the beginning of the week, we had a webinar, an Introduction to Longevity webinar. There were over 90 people attending. And we had people from the Netherlands. We had people from Australia. We had people from Canada. We had people from the U.S. We had people from Mexico and people from Southern Korea, South Korea. That's 6 countries represented. There was a guy, it was 8 o'clock at night Central Time, which meant it was 3 o'clock in the morning in the Netherlands. And there was a guy listening, logged on at 3 a.m. from the Netherlands. I mean, it was fantastic. It was just fantastic. The dedication that people have who align themselves with longevity is awesome. It's so much fun to be around like-minded people. You know what they say, you have no control over the family that you're born into. But if you're smart enough, you will find your life family as you move down the road of life, because we gravitate towards people of like minds. And, you know, the human quilt is a quilt with many different patches in it, many different sizes, many different shapes, many different creeds, and many different colors. And the same goes true for the longevity family. There are people in longevity from all over the world who look different and speak different, have different ideologies, different religions, different political beliefs, different economic beliefs. You know, everybody's got their own thing, right, that they're working through in life. But the one thing about the longevity family is that the one thing that they all have in common, everybody has in common, is that they're dedicated to 2 things. Ending human suffering due to bad health and bad medical treatments, and ending poverty. I mean, those are 2 pretty good causes to be aligned with, don't you think? Now, how are we going to end poverty? How are we going to make ourselves rich? Well, we're going to make ourselves rich by making other people rich. And that's right, I'm saying it out loud, rich. Rich, 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 rich. You got a problem with being rich? Well, what's your problem? You know, rich people are people. Some of the nicest people I've ever met in my life were extremely wealthy people. I don't know where wealthy people got the bad rap, but they don't deserve it. I love wealthy people. I aspire to be amongst their numbers. They're the nicest people I've ever met. Some of the meanest spirited people were poor people. But I don't want to go there because I don't make sweeping generalizations. But the fact of the matter is that it's okay to want to be wealthy. It's okay to be wealthy. You know what's not okay is being poor. You know what's not okay? You're living from paycheck to paycheck, not knowing how you're going to feed or provide for your family, having credit cards that are maxed out, driving a car that's 30 years old, that's on its last leg, having the same suit of clothes for 10 years. That stuff's not okay. It's not okay. It's time to man up. It's time to cowboy up and get it together on the physical plane. Get your money act together. And it's easy to do. Is it overnight money? No. Is it a pipe dream? No. Is it pie in the sky? No. Is it a pyramid Ponzi scheme? No. Those are illegal. It's none of those things. What it is a completely different way of conceptualizing, realizing, and manifesting wealth. It is completely different to what you have been educated in. It is a different way altogether. Now, it's called network marketing because you have to do the work. You have to, put yourself out there. You have to have enrollment conversations with people every week, whether you want to or not. You have to go to your job every day, whether you want to or not. Being self-employed is hard because you have to be self-motivated. You have to drag yourself up out of bed every day and get it together and do your work with no supervision and, you don't have anybody holding your time clock that you're going to punch in. It's all self-regulated, baby, and that takes cojones. That takes a certain level of adultness. That takes a certain level of maturity. That takes a certain level of commitment. It's a noble profession to be self-employed. It's a noble profession because it's harder to be self-employed than it is to work for the man. You work for the man, you had a job, you always know what your paycheck's going to be. You could have a crappy day. You could be underproductive. You get the same pay. You could be the most productive person in your department. You get the same pay. Maybe you get a bonus. Maybe you get a watch at Christmas. Oh, thank you very much. Maybe you get a discount coupon for Applebee's. Oh, gee, thank you very much. Maybe at the end of your lifespan with your career, you get a little plaque that cost them $5 to get at Staples. It's got your name on it. Oh, gee, thank you very much. That's $5. I appreciate that very much. You work for yourself. Sky's the limit. There ain't no glass ceiling here, baby. The sky is the limit. And it's a noble profession because you're making yourself wealthy by making other people more wealthy than you. Your goal with a network marketing longevity business is to make the people in your organization more successful than you. More. The emphasis on more. With a job, it's your boss's job to pay you less than him. It's your boss's job to rein you in. You're overhead. You're not an asset. You're an overhead. It's different here. Completely different. And yet, the banksters would have you believe that network marketing is some pyramid scam and you shouldn't even go there because you're just going to waste your time and it's nonsense. Well, huff and puff. It's nonsense, ladies and gentlemen. If they taught network marketing in high school and in college, 50% of the grads would do network marketing because people don't do it because nobody knows really what it is, and somewhere somebody, did a bad job with a network marketing company. It left a bad taste in somebody's life, and then it got this undeserved social stigma that the banksters were only too happy to capitalize upon and persist this myth that network marketing is bad and evil and it's beneath you when it's exactly the opposite. Remember, it's exactly the opposite of what you've been told. If somebody tells you network marketing is a Ponzi scheme, it's not. What it is the world's best way for you to make money beyond your wildest dreams. That's what it is. But it's called network marketing because you have to work. You got to do it. Now, with longevity, it's a lot easier to do it because everybody that's in longevity is in longevity because they're motivated self-starters. They're optimistic people who are doing it to make a difference in the lives of other people and their own life. They want to be wealthy. They want to be healthy. And the people that brought you into longevity to help you. So you're having a bad day, you call your upline. You're having a really bad day, you call your upline's upline. You're having a really, really bad day, you call the president of the company, who you have access to. For goodness sake. You can't call the president of... Can you call the president of IBM and have a conversation with him and tell him your woes and ask for counsel and guidance? Can you do that? No. You can get in touch with the leaders of longevity 6 times a day on leadership calls and webinars and live events. Longevity, the members of longevity, whether they're the corporate members or they're the longevity distributors who brought you into the company, they are all in your corner. They are all here for you. They're not bothered by your calls. They're waiting for your calls. Now, how about that? How about working for a company where the people above you in the company want you to call them? Imagine that. How about working for a company where your bosses would bend over backwards to help you figure stuff out and get her done? How about that? Instead of cutting you in the back and undercutting you and trying to get more out of you for less. You want to leave that nonsense by the side of the road, kick it a couple times, and then roll it into the dirt and march on down the road of self-employed, multi-level network marketing through the agency of longevity. For goodness sake, grow your budget to fit your dreams and then dream bigger. That's what you can do with longevity. The sky is the limit. There have been hundreds of people in longevity now that are multi-million-dollar earners. There aren't any smarter than you. They're not any more talented than you. Some of them can't even spell vitamin. And they got her done. Why? Because they did a simple system and they leaned on their upline for support. They leaned on the corporate leaders for support. They got help. They got help. They got help. They got help again until they were squarely in the driver's seat of their own destiny, and then they helped others. If you don't want to help people, this ain't for you. You don't want to help people, this business is not for you. It is not for you. This business is not for everybody. Remember, I only said that about 50% of people would do it. That's because about 50% of people are selfless and about 50% of people are selfish. You want to help other people? We've got your back. You want to help yourself? Then, go work for IBM, for goodness sake. Or whatever. As God is my witness, this is the best possible thing that could ever happen to your bank account, and this is certainly the best possible thing that could ever happen to your health account. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a double-barreled success. This is a wave that's building, and you better get your surfboard out now. You don't want to miss this wave. Success from Home magazine in the month of June is featuring longevity, 100% longevity. Success from Home. It's all about the longevity story. The longevity company, now the 96th most successful network marketing company in the world. Can you hear the wave? Can you hear it rumbling in the middle of the night, in the still of the night, in the small hours right before dawn? You put your ear to the ground, you can hear the longevity wave. Do not let it pass you by. FireYourMDNow.com or FireYourMDNow.ca. Go there, click on the longevity button, follow the bouncing cursor, and join our team. I look forward to seeing you. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. Stick around. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the final 5 minutes of today's show, the 15th day of May. 2013. We're going to finish it off by going to Texas and talk to Chris. Hey, Chris, thanks for the call. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Glidden. How are you?
Hey, good, Chris. Thanks for the call. What's up?
Thanks. Well, I wanted to call because about next year would be my 10-year anniversary of I'm a burn survivor.
Ouch.
And next year is my, next year is my 10-year anniversary, and I had a couple of questions on where I got my burns on the back of my head, and I do have skin grafts. They're 2nd and 3rd degree burns. And at the time that I remembered when I was first put in the hospital, the doctor told me at that time that, let's wait a couple of days, clean everything up and do the normal routine, and wait a couple of days and see if the hair would grow back. And if it did, then I guess they would do whatever was necessary from there. But if it didn't, then I would require the skin grafts. And, of course, it didn't come back. And the reason why he told me that I remember that he told me specifically was because my cells were dead. Now, my question is, not only is that necessarily true or not true, is it possible for those cells to, if they're dead, to regrow them?
Well, here's the deal, and it's a perfectly valid question, and the honest answer is there is a point of no return beyond which it's impossible for the body to fix itself, at least with the stuff that I'm aware of. Now, every once in a while you hear miraculous stories, right? But, however, since I've been working with Dr. Wallach, as God is my witness, I have no idea at all where that point of no return is, because you would not believe the things that I've seen people recover from. You wouldn't believe it, man. Well, you might believe it, but most people wouldn't. So I don't know. Your doctor doesn't know. Nobody knows. God knows, but, God's not telling anybody. So either way, it doesn't matter, because whether you can recover from it or whether you can't recover from it, whether you have reached the point of no return or whether you haven't reached the point of no return, your body needs the 90 essential nutrients and to eliminate the bad foods for everything else, because everything's connected. And into the bargain, Chris, who knows? We may get lucky, and you may be one of those people who experiences a remarkable, and I mean a drop-dead, jaw-dropping, remarkable recovery, because we have no idea of where that point of no return is. And the body can tell you one thing. The body has an unbelievable ability to fix itself. It is an unbelievable, majestic ability to fix itself. And so I would go for broke, man. I would just, do the supplements, the skin support stuff. I would go for broke and see what happens. So to support and promote the structure and function of, the skin, to optimize the skin function, the recommendation is one Healthy Start Pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month, 1 bottle of selenium per 50 pounds of body weight per month, 1 capsule of glucogel, 1 pill, 1 capsule of glucogel per 10 pounds of body weight per day. So if you're 180 pounds, you need 18 glucogel a day. And to top it all off, because of the potential problem here with regeneration, as much Z-Radical as you can possibly afford, 8 bottles a month if you can afford it. 7 bottles a month, 6 bottles a month, 5, 4, 3, 2, whatever you can afford of the Z-Radical, in addition to everything else. Plus, of course, eliminate the 10 bad foods. And with, a bad situation like this where, you've been burned badly and you're in a trauma unit and, intensive care, I would give an intensive health recovery program like this 6 months. 6 months before I judged it up or down. 6 months before I judged it up or down. And you also want to find a topical cream. Longevity doesn't make this. You want to find a topical cream that has aloe vera in it. Aloe vera. And call in tomorrow. There's one that I really like. It's made by a completely different company. I often don't promote things by other companies unless Longevity completely doesn't make it at all. And they don't make this one. It's an excellent product, and I don't have any financial relationship with any of these companies. But a topical cream that's high in aloe vera, I'd put that on the burned area 6 times a day. Do that for 6 months. Tune in tomorrow. I'll tell you the name of the aloe vera cream that I use. And, give your body a chance, man, for 6 months. You got nothing to lose into the bargain because everything is connected. Thanks so much for the call, Chris from Texas. And give me a shout back. Let me know how it works. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. We're all out of time for today. Thanks for being with me.